Good afternoon and welcome to CIS 101. I hope you're doing well. You're continuing to observe the social distance, wearing mask, washing your hands, and hopefully this thing will go away and we can go back to how things used to be. Well, we're making progress and I think now we're in week 6. I did post a video last week on the hands-on assignment for chapter 6 and also walking you through about how to go about working on Excel assignments, and I was a little bit disappointed because from what you submitted for this assignment down here, mid-level exercise, it seems like most of you did not watch this video, because if you had watched this video, I explained at least 90% of what was expected of you. So it's a little bit disheartening when we are making all the efforts to make ourselves available through office hours, sharing our phone numbers through the email, which actually is not very good for me. Sometimes I'm not very good at email, so I prefer the phone. But still, I find that students are not following through on that. So please make use of the means of communication that we have provided, especially the phone. A simple text, usually I'll respond to you, and that makes things a little bit much faster compared to me going on the internet, opening the email, blah, 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 things like that. Anyhow, so we are making progress one way or another. We are in week 6, and there's an African saying, maybe I've mentioned it before, the son does not wait for the king. So that's where we are. Week 6, we are progressing with Excel chapter 2, and now we are digging a little bit deeper into some of the more technical aspects of Microsoft Excel. And like I mentioned, it is one of those tools that you're going to use a lot in decision making one way or another. So we talk about this concept of what you're calling absolute, relative, and mixed referencing. And this concept is simply based on the fact that when you're working with Excel, the data is in cells. And we say that the cells have a name, and the name of the cell is based on the intersection of the column heading and the row heading. So you have cells that are labeled like A1, A2, A3, and all that. And anytime that you're doing any calculations, you are using the name of the cells. So we don't actually use what you call row values. So that concept of using the cells and using the name of the cells when you're doing the computation leads us to what we are calling referencing. And then we have what you're calling relative reference, because relative means that something is related to. So the values that you have in one cell are going to be based on values that are in another cell. So we talk of that as relative reference. And then we have what you're calling absolute cell reference, when you want to make sure that you're using value in one cell without changing, when you either do autofill or when you copy the formula all the way down, all across, depending on how the formula is going to be structured. So that's a very important concept to understand. And if you have taken an Excel class, you should have a good understanding of what is absolute, what is mixed, and what is relative cell referencing. So this concept here, and there's some videos that you can watch, give you some ideas. If you have any difficulties not understanding that, please let me know, and we can do one-on-one. We can organize that, you can get some more information, more concept. Another concept is what you're calling the if function. So these are used for decision making. When you have an outcome, you have a decision that you have to make, and there's going to be more than one outcome. So sometimes you use what you're calling the if function. It's used to automate decision making in Excel. So that's another very important function for you to understand. PMT function, another very important function, payment function. So most of us either have a car that we bought through financing, or we have a house that we are paying a mortgage for, or we might have bought something that needed financing. So the PMT function is actually used for determining the payment that you're going to be making based on a certain amount of interest rate and the period and things like that. So this video here, I hope it walks you through how to go about working with the PMT function. If you don't understand it, please let me know. And actually, the assignment for today is going to be based on at least PMT function is one of the functions that you're going to be working on. So these are some of the assignments that you can go through in this group, and let me know if you have any questions. So We have this assignment here. For chapter 2, we have 3 simulation, 1, 2, and 3, and then we have the mid-level exercise, and this mid-level exercise is the one I'm going to work on down here. So I did provide for you instructions here, and these are the same ones that you're going to find in your book. So what I did is just copy that file and posted it here, just in case you have a book that has different page numbers and you want to confirm and make sure that you're doing the right thing. So these 3 simulations, you're going to access them like you've been doing before. And when you get to my IT lab, this is where they are going to be. So today is the 29th. So if you log in today, you'll see like there's nothing that is due. But remember, this flag here is very important because this shows you the start date for the assignment. So this week, we are going to be working on chapter 2, simulation 1, 2, and 3, and for some weird reason the system is ranking them like this. I try to move them around, so just know that you do 1 and then you can come back, do 2, and then you do 3. So these were assigned yesterday, and you have until 10/5, which is next Monday, to do them. If you finish this and you're comfortable, you can start working on chapter 3. So those ones will become available tomorrow. You don't have to. Okay, so these are not due until the 10/12, and the 10/12 is next Monday but 1, I think. So you have enough time for chapter 3. So don't worry about chapter 3, just work on chapter 2. Now my advice will be, do the simulation, and then once you do the simulation, come try and work on this mid-level exercise. And what you can do is, if you want to actually test yourself, once you finish the simulation, don't watch my video until you have at least attempted this exercise. And then what you can do is you can go ahead, watch the video, and then see whether you did exactly what you were supposed to do. So that will be my advice, and that's the way that you're going to be able to see whether you're actually applying the concept, instead of just watching the video and then you start working on it. Because sometimes what happens is we get kind of like corrupted when you already have ideas about how to do something, because the advantage of this exercise is that you're working on an Excel worksheet and you're going to be creating a worksheet from scratch. So if you really want to test and see whether you're working on it, my advice will be, stop the video right now, finish your simulation, then come back here, start working on this assignment, do as much as you can, and then once you're completely done, or once you think you're completely stuck, then you can come back and watch the video. And if you still have some things that are not very clear, feel free to get in touch with me. So that will be my advice. Okay, so now I'll walk you through how to go about doing this. And like I've mentioned before, I like to open both files and have them on my desktop. So I'm going to open this as a PDF file. It might be a little bit smaller. And basically what you can do is you'll have the same file on your computer. So all on in your book, and actually 528, maybe I should just go to my book. Okay, so I have my file here. This is the one that has the instructions, which I'm getting from page 528 in your book. And then I have Microsoft Excel blank file. So I opened a clean blank file right over here. And this is what I'm looking at. So I have this. And so you can read this small portion here, and basically you're told that you're a financial consultant, you work with a family who plans to purchase a car, blah, 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 blah. So if I'm not done in this video, I'm going to make another short one to help you understand. So probably you'll have maybe 2 short videos. Okay, so the first instruction is start a new Excel workbook, save it as that, and then rename sheet 1 as that. So I already have this, I opened it up, and then I have sheet 1. So to rename this, I right click here, and then you come here, rename, and then you type the name that you want. So I'm not going to give you the exact answer, but I'm going to show you how to go about working on it. So type auto loan calculator in cell A1. So where is cell A1? That's A1. How do I know that's A1? Because my name box is telling me that's where it is. So you're going to type the information there, and you type auto all the way like that, and then in cell A1, and then margin center the title on the first row. So this is A1 and this is the title, so it should go all the way from A1 to F1 here. And basically what you do is you click on the first cell and then you drag it all the way to F, and then you go up to your home tab and you go through the under alignment, and you can go to merge and center. Okay, so usually I would like to maximize that so I can see what I'm working on, and that's what you're doing. Then you can minimize here so that you can go back to the next instruction. So type auto loan in that and then do that. Apply bold, 18 gold accent. So to do those, you'll come up here if you want to maximize. This is the font size. This is where you're going to be getting the font color is right over here. So if you click down here and you put the mouse pointer here, it's going to be giving you those specifications. So you can see that. So play around with it and you'll find that answer right over there. And then tells you in step C, type the labels in the range A31 for each label such as that, merge the cell such as that, use the column C. Okay, so we have some input value that you're going to be working with, and once you read this, probably you need to spend a little bit more time to understand what you're going to be working on. So we are creating a worksheet that is going to help us to be able to organize the data. So we are told from cell A3, which is this one over here, we have what we are calling input. So you can specify that as your input, and your inputs are going to be what? The price of the car, down payment, date of the first payment, and borrower's credit rating. So the first one here will be the price, and you can use your own variables. So you have the price, then you have the down payment, and then you come down here, you have the date of the first payment, and then you have borrower's credit rating, like that. Okay, so this is input, and then these are the variables. They are called variables because they change. And we are told once you do that, you're going to be doing some merging. So you select that, highlight that, and if you want to maximize this, you do that, and then you make sure they are aligned like that. And once you do that, you can make these bold or whichever way you want. Then do the same thing here, or you can actually use the format painter. So click on the first cell and then click on the format painter and click there. Come back to format painter, and basically what you're doing is you're transferring those formattings to these cells down like this. So if this was something maybe like that and you had that as the color and you use the format painter, it's going to put those formattings down here like that. So this is the same concept that we did from chapter 1. Okay, so that's how you want to do that. That's part of the first piece here. Okay, so you're typing this information, so you have your inputs. Now you want to format to make sure that, if you remember in chapter 1 we had the styles, and if you click on this button down here, it shows you that this is how you format your inputs. Okay, so if you click on that, that's going to be your inputs. And then down here we are told, if you continue reading here, that we have the variable names, which is our input, and then we have the constants. So you'll come down here, you can skip one line, and then you come in here and you click constants, and then your constants are going to be the sales tax. So you have the tax, and then you come down here and you have another one is the years. So this is the loan. You're going to have a number of years, and then you're going to have number of payments. So you have a number of payments per year. So number of payments. Okay. So at least now you have the variables that you are asked to specify. So we did that, and remember we had this negotiated cost is the one that we used. This concept here is the one that we used to help us in merging the cells right over here. Okay. Okay, so we have that column C, type that formula and put the constant values in column C. Okay, so now this part here, we're going to be inputting the value, and you can specify your values. So the price of the car we are told is 35, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then the required deposit, maybe you want everybody to give a deposit of 1500. That is yours to determine. Okay, and then the date when you want them to start paying, that's for you to determine. And then the credit rating, you can use a value of 1, or you can use something like excellent, or whatever you want. Okay, so I'm going to use good for that. Okay, and then you'll come down here and you say type credit, down payment, and appear in the range A14. So identify A14. We have A14 is right here. So we're going to leave these ones empty for now. So A14, we have credit, and basically what will happen is as we continue working, you'll see the Excel. Then we have the down payment here. We have down payment, you'll see the Excel worksheet becoming a little bit more clear. Okay, next video.